For over 2 decades, Dragon Ball fans have speculated, discussed, and wondered about the mysterious, cryptic, and perplexing ending of Dragon Ball GT. Everyone has a theory, everyone has an idea, everyone has a guess, but on this edition of Dragon Ball in Depth, we put an end to the theories and speculation. We put an end to the debate. With extensive research both inside and outside the series itself, we present to you the complete explanation of the ending of Dragon Ball GT. What happens to Goku? What does it all mean? Where they get the idea from? All of this and much more will be unveiled to you in just a moment. In order to fully decrypt this mysterious ending of Dragon Ball GT back in 1997, I had to get some help. So I want to thank Derek Padula from the Tao of Dragon Ball for assisting with the research of this video. Check out the taoofdragonball.com as well as his comprehensive book series discovering the history of Dragon Ball culture. In addition to that, besides the outside research that I'll present to you here on this video, we're going to be referencing Dragon Ball GT episodes 62, 63, and 64, the final 3 episodes of GT. So if you're going to be watching these after the video to double check my work and to see for yourself, make sure you watch them in the original Japanese. It's imperative that you do that. Once again, that's the last 3 episodes of Dragon Ball GT, 62, 63, and 64. Now, let's begin the analysis. We begin with Dragon Ball GT episode 62. Now, all of these episodes were written by Toei writer Atsushi Maekawa, and they aired on November 5th, November 12th, and November 19th, 1997, originally. At this point in the story, Goku and Vegeta are battling the being known as Yi Xinglong, aka Omega Shenron, and he's been their toughest foe to date in the Dragon Ball GT series and the final boss of the series itself. Now, I don't have time to get into the intricacies of this character right now. That's a video for another day. So I'm going to make this video presuming that you've already seen this at some point in your life and that you already know about this character, how he works, what minus energy is, and things of that nature. If not, I'll produce a video in the future about it, but this is mostly going to be focused on what actually happened to Goku at the end of the series and what it all means. Episode 62 lays the groundwork for what's going to happen in 63 and 64, and those are the ones that we're going to primarily focus on, but some very interesting events occur in 62. First of all, Goku loses his Super Saiyan 4 power and shrinks back into his kid body. Then suddenly, the 4-star Dragon Ball appears on Goku's forehead. So the Dragon Ball physically manifests itself into becoming the Fire Dragon, Su Xinglong, otherwise known as Nova Shenron in the English dub, whom, because he was born from the 4-star Dragon Ball Wish, the most personal Dragon Ball to Goku because it represents his grandfather and his love for his grandfather, is the most, I guess you could say, honorable of the evil dragons. Now, in case you forgot, prior to the ball appearing on Goku's forehead and then eventually coming out to reform the dragon, Goku swallowed the Dragon Ball, and that does play a very interesting role in what's happening here. Now, it may have seemed initially that the Fire Dragon was going to join up with his brother and torment Goku and Vegeta, but no, in fact, it's a big swerve, and it seems like this time the dragon is 100% a good guy. Now, how did this happen? That could be a mystery on its own, but it's not that difficult to figure out. Son Goku, from the very beginning of Dragon Ball, has been said to be pure of heart. In fact, I did an entire Dragon Ball in depth going into explicit detail on Goku's pure of heart and what it actually means. But this has a dramatic effect on the Dragon Ball because this Dragon Ball, when it's infused with Omega Shenron, it becomes consumed with negative minus energy. But when Goku swallows the ball, Goku's heart is so pure that he's able to cleanse the ball of negative energy and turn it into positive energy, plus energy. And that's why the dragon that comes out of it now seems to be benevolent and willing to defeat his own brother. He tries to take him out, but unfortunately he failed, and as a result of that, Yi Xinglong is back to full power, and Goku and Vegeta are now screwed. Or so it appears. At this point, it's going to take a miracle for Goku to win this fight. And that's exactly what happens. But how does it happen? Let's discuss Dragon Ball GT episode 63. '63 is probably the most eventful episode when it comes to discussing the end of Dragon Ball GT and what it means. So Yi Xinglong is pummeling the hell out of Goku and Vegeta. He is ruthless here and he cannot be stopped. So he fires a blast at Goku, and Goku tries to block the attack with his hands, not unlike the struggle he had with pure Majin Buu during the end of the Buu arc in Dragon Ball Z. And what happens is this time though, there's no Dragon Balls to help Goku get his energy back, and because of that, Goku takes it upon himself to protect the Earth, using his will, his sheer will to stop this blast and every ounce of energy he had inside of him to prevent the Earth from being destroyed. Understand that Goku should not be powerful enough to block this, but out of sheer will, he does it. And we even hear an Ozaru growl in the background. Suddenly, there's a big explosion and there's a humongous crater on Earth where Goku was. Goku saved the Earth, but was seemingly killed in the process. And it's all but confirmed by several statements from the characters that Goku was indeed dead. He is nowhere to be found. And what ends up happening is Yi Xinglong, Omega, begins to flood the Earth with negative minus energy. Vegeta goes to fight him and is joined by the others, and the destruction continues to reign all over the Earth because he's too powerful. And suddenly, Goku's voice is heard, beginning to gather energy for a Genki Dama. After Vegeta takes a thrashing, Goku rises from the crater, shockingly alive, holding up a gigantic universal Genki Dama. Although this spirit bomb may not have seemed as big as the one against Kid Buu, it's up for debate on that, it is packed with energy from the entire universe, and keep in mind, this is positive energy. Now, one statement that Goku makes here that's very imperative to understand is he says he cannot die until he puts him away. Goku states he cannot die until he wins this fight. Is that sheer will or is there more? I'll explain shortly. The positive energy of the Genki Dama cleans up all the negative energy that Omega was protruding onto the Earth. And Omega himself states that Goku should be dead, and he blasts Goku, but Goku feels nothing. Omega Shenron, Yi Xinglong, is blasting this man, and he feels no pain. How is this possible? We'll get to it. Goku keeps gathering energy, and with the help of the 4 Kaios of the 4 quadrants, carries his voice throughout the entire universe, and the universe gives energy to Goku to take out the threat of Yi Xinglong. Positive Genki energy. Remember, Genki represents good health. Genki represents positivity, the opposite of what Omega Shenron represents, which is negativity and badness and evil. Omega then asks, "Who are you?" questioning what Goku is because nothing hurts Goku. He feels no pain. This move is referred to in the Japanese version as the Super Ultra Genki Dama, which is a cool name, and he fires it upon Omega Shenron, destroys him at last, and wins the battle, saving the universe. Suddenly, the Dragon Balls light up, and the dragon comes out of the balls, although nobody summoned him. And that will take us to the finale of the original run of the Dragon Ball anime, Dragon Ball GT episode 64. There's a lot of mystery surrounding this episode, which I'm going to get into here in a minute. So Bulma senses something weird here because when the dragon comes out, the sky is not dark, and every other time they summon the dragon, the skies get dark. So Shenlong tells Goku to rise. We find out that this world and the next world becoming one is the reason as to why the evil dragons appeared. People relied too much on the Dragon Balls, and thus the dragon will not allow them to use the balls anymore. The dragon is very authoritative here, and there's no bargaining with him. Goku asked the dragon before he leaves, as kind of like a final sort of request, to revive the people who died in the recent fight with the evil dragons. Shenron does that and then asks Goku to go with him. Now, Goku somehow knows exactly where they are going and what's going on. Goku asks the dragon to stop off somewhere, and Goku goes to visit his friends and reminisce on their adventures. Muten, Roshi, and Kudadin are both puzzled by Goku's current state as he vanishes. He doesn't seem like the same Goku. Something seems very off about him, almost as if he's a different person. And Goku even goes to hell to say farewell to Piccolo, whom is also puzzled by this state of Goku. Also, mysteriously enough, Goku's clothing is left behind for his granddaughter, and yet we see Goku wearing his clothes on the back of the dragon, sleeping as the Dragon Balls appear to absorb into him and the dragon vanishes, and Goku would not be seen again for 100 years. In the 100-year time skip, Grandma Pan sees Goku, or at least a vision of Goku, in the distance at the tournament, fully grown once again, watching Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. do battle, and that's the last time that we see Goku, who smiles and walks away. But don't forget, Goku does make one more appearance in the Goku Jr. special to appear to his great whatever grandson, Goku Jr. But if we go back to the TV show, the final shots are Goku sort of reminiscing on his adventures from first meeting Bulma to his battles with Frieza, Cell, and Majin Buu and Baby, and that would close the book on Dragon Ball in anime form until 2015, when Dragon Ball Super would be on the air and bring the series back into prominence. Now, if you want more information on the actual story behind what happened with Dragon Ball GT's production, both beginning, middle, and end, check out my Dragon Ball In-Depth on the truth about Dragon Ball GT, as I unearthed some crazy information nobody had talked about before then about what happened with GT. But that does not answer the question at hand, which is, what happened to Goku? Now that I've given you a recap of the final events of the series, why don't we dig in, and I'm going to tell you exactly what it all means. Let's go. Now, if you've been watching my videos or if you read Derek's work, you know that Dragon Ball and anime as a whole borrows a lot of concepts from Eastern religion and Eastern philosophy. And Dragon Ball GT is no different, and knowledge of this is imperative to understanding what happens here. Some of this information can be discovered in literature at your local library, because guess what? Not all of it is online. In fact, very little of this kind of stuff is even on the internet, and you have to go old school and read the books to really get the information, which is probably why this ending is so confusing for so many people. Now, we have to go and discuss the dragon first, the eternal dragon Shenron. You need to remember, first of all, that in Dragon Ball, when Kami-sama recreates the dragon, he does a Shinto ritual, which would imply that the idea behind the dragon is that the dragon is made of light, which is something that's discussed a lot in Taoism and in, Asian literature and whatnot. Dragons are light beings. And the ancient Asians believed that there were multiple dimensions and multiple realms existing on the planet. So one has to understand that the home world, if you want to call it that, of the Shenlong, of Eternal Dragon and Purunga and the other dragons is some kind of alternate dimension. And it's implied that Namekians were the first ones to discover that dimension, but of course this would be before the introduction of the Zalama lore from Dragon Ball Super. So let's remove that for just a moment and focus on the dragon here, because the dragon's an imperative part of what happens to Goku. So the first question is, of course, is Goku dead? Did Goku die at the end of GT? Did Omega Shenron, Yi Xinglong, kill Goku? And the answer is no. Goku is not dead. You may think he's dead. He may seem dead, but he's not dead. However, his closest ones could tell that something is different about him at the end of the series. Now, it's obvious that in Dragon Ball GT Episode 62, when Goku swallows the 4-star Dragon Ball, he is able to, with his pure heart, purge the negative energy, the minus energy from that Dragon Ball and convert it into pure positive energy. And that's why the Fire Dragon came back and was basically a good guy. But what kind of effect did the Dragon Ball have on Goku? And you must keep in mind that Goku was the first person with a pure of heart to swallow the Dragon Ball. What happens to Goku is a Taoist belief that is referred to as the ascension to heaven in broad daylight. That's what this is called, ascension to heaven in broad daylight. What does this mean? Here's the idea. The Taoists believe that you die, you come back to life, you look the same, but you're not really dead. When you dig into Taoist beliefs, you understand that there are two consciousnesses, main and subconscious, and the key factor in meditation and the occult is knowing oneself, and your knowing self dies and your true self awakens. But in Taoism, you must eliminate your physical form for the true version of yourself to rise, and you must be virtuous and pure-hearted. And in Dragon Ball, as we know, there are not many characters that fit that description, but Goku is unquestionably one of them, which we've discussed before. So when Goku rises up out of the crater to confront the evil dragon once again, this is Goku with his ascended body. He looks young, but he is in fact immortal, perfected body and mind. You can make comparisons to the story of Jesus rising from the grave in the New Testament and other sort of, texts that discuss this kind of stuff. But it really is an Asian idea in Dragon Ball because it's Goku with his body, but now he's truly immortal. And that's why Omega Shenron's attacks do not hurt him. Nothing can hurt Goku, especially something made of negativity when he is flowing with positivity. Now, one could say that the ball infused with Goku gave him this ability, but I think something else happened here. Now, what happens is that this version of Goku, this ascended version of Goku, it is made up of a super matter that produces light, a celestial matter, and Goku achieves it here. Goku is fighting Yi Xinglong with a celestial immortal body as a result of the dragon and the Dragon Balls, really, becoming one with Goku, which is why the dragon, when he would return in episode 64, or the end of 63 technically, there was a version of a mind meld, sort of a unspoken understanding between Goku and the dragon of what needed to happen next based on the misuse of the Dragon Balls and the drama that they got into, the battle they got into as a result of that. And the fact that the dragon, through the synthesis of the Dragon Ball, realized that Goku was indeed pure of heart and worthy of receiving the celestial body. So what happened to Goku now that he has ascended in broad daylight? Well, remember what I said earlier about dragons being creatures of light? Taoists believe that deities descend from heaven and then are brought to heaven by dragons. Dragons connect the heavens and the earth. And when you ascend on top of a dragon, like Goku did in GT episode 64. When you are on top of a dragon, it shows mastery of nature and ascension beyond being mortal. So Goku, with his new immortal body, would leave the earth with the dragon to the dragon's version of heaven, not the same heaven from Dragon Ball with the check-in station and King Yama and all that. No, this is a separate dimension for the dragons, never to be seen again until the time was right, and Goku chose to come back at a time 100 years later to witness his descendant do battle with his own eyes. Goku knew exactly what he had to do, what it meant, and why he had to leave, and why it was important for him to leave with the balls to ensure that they not be used again. You have to remember that Dragon Ball is a Japanese product, and not just Toriyama is responsible for its concepts and ideas and its culture based on philosophies and Eastern religions. If you are in Japan, this knowledge is probably very common to you or something you probably studied when you were a kid, but most people watching this video are not Japanese, which is why I assume most people watching this have never even heard of ascension in heaven in broad daylight. It wouldn't surprise me, because I never heard of it until we began doing research for this video. Dragon Ball GT has a beautiful ending, and to me, GT has the best ending of any of the old Dragon Ball anime. It's very satisfying, it's very poetic, and it's enriched in so much philosophy and so much culture that it took us so long to truly decrypt what was going on here with Goku's ascension into an immortal body and how it actually worked and where it all comes from. I thank you for watching this edition of Dragon Ball In Depth. If you are new here, you know what to do, and I will continue to produce content as much as I can, as long as I can, like this, until I ascend to heaven in broad daylight. I thank you once again, and I will catch you down that long and winding road that we call life.